Bill was the purest vampire to be found on the True Blood. And now he's done an about-face, doing it in the name of some bullshit vampire religion, but he's done an about-face where, I mean, he used to not even have, he wouldn't even drink human blood and stop and let the humans live. And now he's a part of a thing where they're killing people. And he had trained Jessica that was wrong. And now he wants Jessica, who's his, she's his maker. I mean, he's her maker. And he wants Jess to be involved in that. But the thing is, even though vampires are more powerful, humans, we do outnumber them. Like by 1,000,000 to 1 or something. We really, really outnumber them. So, I don't know where this is going, but I don't enjoy watching all the violence, but I need to find out what happens. Because it's not looking good. Right now I think I'm taking a break. No TV and no internet. I'm gonna clean. I can read. And if I get sleepy, I'll sleep. Too much sleep's not good for you, but if you've been depleted of enough sleep for quite some time, like it's definitely the case with me, then it's okay to sleep. My mama was supposed to come and she was going to bring a CD. I think me winding up in the hospital feeling just weird, faint, dizzy, I don't know, the whole 9 yards, was a combination of things. I think my mind must have made it worse than it was. And it's because I haven't been checked out and I gained a shitload of weight and I started thinking maybe I have low blood sugar or something. I just don't want to faint. And you can't say, oh, it's because you didn't eat right when you got up. Because I don't eat right when I get up a lot of times. It's called intermittent fasting. And I feel fine. But I'm also not using powerful cleaning products like pouring straight bleach on the countertop because I'm pissed off that the countertop will stain and the stain doesn't come off. That's the most annoying thing. It gets stained like from my blueberries, frozen blueberries, and even if I wipe it immediately, it's immediately stained. It doesn't come off. Oh, how do you fight against that? It's ridiculous. Even the bleach didn't get the stain off completely. But at least it's somewhat I don't know. Like I said, I keep this house clean, but that means that it's not cluttered. It doesn't mean that it's clean in terms of dirt and dust and probably even potentially mold. Remember, I kept wanting to get the caulking done in the kitchen, that the rubber thing that goes all the way around. That's been coming off for years. But of course, every time we plan to do anything, my mom wound up sick. That's been coming off for years, and you know water has gone down in there. Lord only knows what the condition of this house is. There's no saying, you know. It's not a regular house. I'll never forget when my aunt told me that all this house is viewed as is like an expensive car. Houses are only valuable, I guess, on terms of the land that they're on, and if you don't own the land, the house is just viewed as an expensive car. Technically, you could move the house, but it's not worth it. Better to sell it, any of these houses, and just buy a new house somewhere. Not ever try to move any of these things. Oh, no phones either. I told my friend I was okay. No way in hell was I going to have her pick me up, even though she said I could. Got out late anyway. It's like you're in a room and they need the room and they get you out. I waited patiently for 2.5 hours, and then I couldn't stand it anymore. My arm was hurting me. And it turned out, and I talked to my nurse, whatever, and I'm like, why? How long am I going to be? And she's like, well, you haven't been discharged yet. I'm like, why? I was medically cleared a few hours ago, I don't know if I was medically cleared relatively quickly. Then I had to wait around for quite some time to see the clinician, the shrink, the whatever, the person who knew that I was fine. Assessed the situation. She's like, she knew. She was looking at me. She's like, I have to ask this, but she's like, you don't want to go voluntarily to any hospital. Like, of course I don't. And she's like, you're not gonna harm yourself. I'm like, no. She said, why did you come here today? And it was medical, but if they don't find anything medically wrong with me, and they know I'm under a lot of stress and whatnot, then, and I'm always going to be worried about my mom. That's just going to happen. We all know it's not any big revelation. My mom can get sick again at any time. That's just a given. It's an unfortunate given, But we're all doing everything in our power to make things better for her. So I said I go there at least once a week, and I cook enough meals. There's been meals make delicious meals for her, different kinds, all similar. I'm not a cook. They're all similar, but sometimes a little bit different. And pack her freezer with them. And she's getting something healthy that's not processed food. She was not eating good at all when she was living in her sister's, that apartment. She was telling me what she didn't want to spend it. No, her sister would pick out the food, the cheapest food. My mom told me she was spending like nothing on food. And just eating cheap stuff, and then once in a while the sister might, give her something that the sister had made. Told me she would have spaghetti or something and not even have meat in it, just sauce and pasta, or she'd have macaroni and cheese. In any case, I'm making delicious meals for her, and it means she's eating healthier, which gives me peace of mind. I already told you guys this. And also, there's other people in her life that are other professionals or whatnot. She's doing alright. She keeps her place spotless. That's always a good sign. It looks good, to see that she does that. And she's spending the weekends with me. So that she, as I will tell anybody who asks me, including the professionals in her life, so that she can go to church, since she was rejected by the church where she lives. Rejected by the church that her sister had gone to for 1,000,000 years. And rejected by somebody who had professed, that someone I'd even talked to on the phone. I'd even told when my mom was in the hospital for various things, including that weren't psychological related, mind, whatever. And then this woman turns on my mom because my mom's, acting up. But that acting up, thankfully, didn't land her in the mental hospital. It could have, but it didn't. She's human. Sometimes things happen that she's able to, for whatever reason, snap out of. There's no saying why. Except that maybe she acts a certain way. It's an exaggerated way that any of us might act and not have to be put in a mental hospital because we don't have the history. For example, hypothetically speaking, my mom gets into an argument with somebody and it becomes a little intense, which can happen to any of us, but because she has a history, she'll be sent to the hospital and possibly evaluated. It's just how it is. She's always under scrutiny. And that's very fucking sad to me, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And then it's the luck of the draw. Because she can be evaluated by a person, like happens in the regular hospital once you're medically cleared. And that person makes the I get these stickers off of me. That person makes the determination whether or not to hospitalize my mom, section, or against her will. The point I'm making is that if she winds up in the regular hospital yet does not get sectioned, ultimately by the person who evaluates her, a person like the person who evaluated me yesterday, then what does that tell you? She shouldn't have been hospitalized in the first place. But when you have a history, it's what happens. That's why I refuse to ever call the police on her, and even when I didn't, I called one time, and like I said, more than once I called the medical, but I was later told it doesn't matter if she goes in for medical because she has that history. If she's showing any signs of anything, she's going to be evaluated, but she needed to be evaluated, you know. When she went in for that lithium toxicity thing and spent 5 days there, that she said was the worst days. It was horrible for her. And it was horrible to have that be poison and not know it. If ever I needed proof of the dangerousness of psych meds, that was it, people. That was the turning point for me. You put her on fucking lithium, you don't tell you motherfucker, you don't tell the family, you don't tell me, you don't make sure I understand and she understands that lithium is you have to really pay attention, and it is determined by what you eat and drink and all this crap that I had to look up online because I'm able to look stuff up online. I have that ability, you know, I'm smart, I'm not, and I'm computer literate, but otherwise, to be so arrogant as a psychiatrist who has my mother at your mercy, my elderly mother, and to do a complete turnaround with her meds, take her off of everything that she was on and then put her on fucking lithium and then not explain that lithium's different than anything she's ever been on for the past over 30 years. That was the turning point for me, people. My mother became toxic, and not just a little toxic. She would have died if she'd been alone, because she's the type who wait till it's too late. She would have died, probably, likely, if I wasn't in the picture. Not a fucking game. And that's what these psychiatrists do when they get these patients in their clutches at their mercy. They do whatever the fuck they want. I used to think my mom was just going in to have her meds adjusted. And my aunt would tell me, oh, just calm down, Laura, she just needs her meds adjusted. And then repeatedly see, they don't just adjust the meds. They dramatically change them around. Who the fuck do they think they are? They go by how the patient is when the patient's admitted to their facility, but the patient is being admitted to their facility under duress, doesn't want to be there. You know? They should be given a chance to calm down. Not just put on fucking lithium, or a couple years later put on fucking Thorazine, or in between put on Haldol and gabapentin, and every fucking time bad shit has happened. So I have my eyes way, way, way more open than most unfortunate sheeple on this planet. And they'll never be even remotely close again. I witnessed it firsthand. I could write a fucking book on it. Exactly what these sick fucks do to people who get sectioned and are helpless and at their mercy. Smart thing would be just to think, well, maybe the person was not correctly taking their meds they were on in the outside world. Maybe they stopped taking them, as often happens, and we'll just get them back on their regular regimen and see what happens. Not put them on fucking lithium, or put them on fucking Aldo, or put them on fucking Thorazine, all at the same goddamn hellhole over the years. Same goddamn hellhole that I have no power to keep my mom from going back to again, because it's the first open bed. We have to take the first open bed, the first open bed. I was up super early with Omar 5 to do his business, eat. We went back to bed. I dreamed about my dead uncle and my cousins. In the dream, we were at a friggin' store. Because remember, I have no idea how my uncle died, neither does my mom. It doesn't matter that I don't, but it's sad my mom doesn't, you know. Let's just leave it at that. But in the dream, he wanted to, something was wrong with him in the store that we'd all gone to. It was going to be, I guess, a discount place. Remember, these old people haven't been in my life for years, so it's very strange to dream about it. But he wanted to die, and he had some kind of medical emergency, and he was just done, and he was saying he was done, and didn't want anyone to call anybody. Strange. And I have no idea how he died. I know it was my Aunt Jane to send my mom a letter after the fact, after the funeral services had already taken place. Yeah. And why I would dream about that, who knows? No. I don't have to be close to my cousins when I was so close to them for so long, you know, all growing up. I don't have to be close to them to ache for them that they lost both their parents, and relatively young, you know. I'm thankful my mom's still alive and kicking. And of course, given the recent things, that have happened over the particularly last couple of years or whatnot. So I'm always going to be worried about her. It comes with the territory. If you love somebody. Oh, you know what was on Inside Edition? I have to put front line on Omar. I put the front line on the Omar, the blind. Have you gotten any heavier? This is interesting in a number of ways. Because it kind of shines a light on the recent thing with that Olympic star's daughter drowning because she somehow, as the news will say, wound up in the pool at a neighbor's house when they were over there, or parents or one parent or whatever was there at a party. One minute you're laughing it up, enjoying yourself, losing track of your child. The next minute the child's dead. Sorry to be so blunt, but it's the fucking truth. Now, what was on Inside Edition is very interesting. This is very, very interesting. I forget where it happened. Doesn't really matter. A 2-year-old and a 17-month-old were somehow, the parents are saying they were somehow able to unlock a back door, okay, and make it to the pool out back, and it was all caught on surveillance camera. This would have been another tragedy. Could have been a double tragedy. And you can't say it didn't happen because I watched it on Inside Edition. It was all caught on surveillance cameras. So the 2-year-old and the 17-month-old go in the pool. Like I've been reading about, kids are just drawn to water. They want to go into the pools. And so this was an above-ground pool. They had to climb up the ladder. They were in the pool. The 2-year-old, the little 17-month-old went under. And the 2-year-old wasn't able to pull him back up. The 2-year-old had the wherewithal to get out of the pool, climb down the ladder, go back into the house, and say to the two mommies, because they were at one house but it was 2 different kids, one of each, say to the 2 mommies, point and say, Danny, Danny, and they ran out, and they said on Inside Edition the little boy had been under for at least over 5 minutes, yet I guess she was able to do CPR on him, resuscitated him, and no brain damage, nothing. Over 5 minutes, and nothing happened to him. Yet supposedly Emmeline, whatever her last name was, Emmeline, first, like they say, it was just a couple of minutes. Bullshit. Okay? Then they're saying they don't know how long the baby was in the pool. But we'll see what investigators come up with. This little kid, this little toddler that's around the same age, was in that pool, they said, under probably over 5 minutes, yet not only survived, but no brain damage, yet the little girl winds up dead when she supposedly was only, that's what, again, they're going to say, it was only a couple minutes, and then they say it was several minutes. Then, the bottom line is, I hope they were able to determine how long she was in the pool, because there is negligence going on there, and someone should be held accountable, and I'm not the only one feeling that way. And I don't appreciate newscasters or whatnot from Inside Edition or World News Tonight or whatever, insulting my intelligence by just saying somehow the little girl wound up in the pool. She didn't somehow wind up in the pool. The person that's in the position of her caregiver, in this case it was her mother, I think, I don't know if both parents were there, but got caught up in the party, lost track of her little girl, And it wound up being an irreversible, fateful decision. I mean, not a conscious decision, but you know what I mean? It wound up costing the little girl her life, and the family losing their little girl, okay? And because it happened to a celebrity, maybe more people will be made aware of it, and it'll be shed light on. But now this thing was not, these weren't celebrities, but the little kids unlocked the back door. I guess as parents, you just have to constantly keep your eye on little kids. But here's a case where two neighbors are getting together talking. They think the little kids are probably in the other room playing. And again, this could have been a total tragedy of one or both kids being dead. Easily, the 17-month-old would have drowned if the 2-year-old hadn't had the wherewithal to actually get up and go to the house and get help. Who would think a 2-year-old would have that kind of just presence in his head to go and do that? But he's still a little 2-year-old, and he can't get out of the pool that fast, and he has to get down and down the ladder and go in. That's why they say that baby was under that water for over 5 minutes, yet survived. You know what I'm saying? It can just happen so easily. The toddler running down the highway could have easily got killed. They had that on Inside Edition and then on World News Tonight, but a cop saw him, and a cop got out of his car and ran after him, but that could have been a total fucking tragedy. And I guess that's an instance where the toddler got out a door when the parents didn't realize it happened, you know? There were people online saying, both of the little girl, that is it Brody or something? I can't think now, but anyway, that little girl, the little 19-month-old, I think, a toddler of the Olympic star, whatever. It's just awful. People are saying that both the parents and the neighbor who had the ungated pool are all responsible. And the expert on Inside Edition was saying you can set up your pool so if someone's getting into it, that it buzzes, and you can also, there's things you can get for your kids to wear that will go off if they're anywhere near water, you know. Apparently 10 people in the United States drown every day, and 20% of those are children. I don't know if they drown, but they die. It said that they drown. This kid was not alive, they said. They brought him back to life. But I'm sorry, but there are lots of things both pool owners and parents can do to protect their young children from drowning. And if you don't do enough to protect your child and the child drowns, who's responsible? I don't know. I don't know. And then in Dayton, Florida, a roller coaster that's been around for 40 years This is sickening too. A car went off the tracks. People fell 35 feet down. They didn't die. They were hurt, obviously, and then people were dangling, whatever. But the key to this story is it had just been inspected, not days before, not weeks before, a couple hours before the tragedy happened. It had just been inspected. So the people who own that park or run that park or the whatever, they're saying if it's found, whoever's found responsible will be held accountable. It had just been inspected. Where's the excuse for it to go off the tracks like that if it had just been inspected that day, just a couple hours before the tragedy took place? That's just sick. It's sick. As I already told you, I weigh almost 200 pounds now, which is another reason why I got scared when I started feeling just weird. But our minds are very powerful things, and I was actually in a good mood. It's not like I was, and when I started feeling that way, I just was like, what the fuck is going on? Well, you've been cleaning for hours, Laura, and you've drank plenty of water, but you haven't eaten anything. So then I ate something, and I was still feeling weird. So I'm not off the hook. Just because the hospital doesn't test for things like, they can't, you have to fast. It didn't test things for like cholesterol or diabetes. They test for dangerous things that could pose a danger, and they also did heart stuff on me, you know. But everything checked out fine, and now I have peace of mind. See, when I'm medically cleared, I know if whatever happened to me Friday night and Saturday morning happens again, I won't be scared. I don't have to be scared. Because it must derive from like some sort of mild, I don't know, panic attack or anxiety, or I don't know. Or, as I told my Joe, it could be just, maybe I'm allergic to this house. I told you I lost my calendar. I was searching through old papers that haven't been disturbed, I guess, that were in my room, but that I don't, and dust kicked up. This was about a week ago, and I felt ill. Literally, I started feeling sick. I was like, oh my God. And it was only a 0.01 in a zillion chance that the notebook was in, not the notebook, the calendar was in that box. But again, when you search the obvious places and you exhaust all options, you have to start searching in non-obvious places. Had I not done that, I never would have found my friggin' battery charger. I told you I found it in the Ziploc box with where the bags were. So why would I have ever thought it fallen in there? I wouldn't. And now I'm missing my Walkman. And you know I can't live without that. And I had it Friday because I went to my mom's to cook. And I cooked another delicious fucking healthy meal that also has, she put sour cream on it, but so what? She's getting beans, she's getting spinach. It had spinach, a whole 16-ounce package of spinach. This time it wasn't spinach kale mixed together, it was just spinach. It had 2 12-ounce packages of mushrooms. It had a whole package of hamburger, all organic items, of course. It had, and the meat's, you know, grass-fed. Is the meat organic too? I don't know. I think so. I don't know. But anyway, it had salsa, a whole 16-ounce jar of salsa. It had a ton of spices. Oh, it had some hummus. It had some hummus. Some delicious hot jalapeno hummus that I had my mom taste, and she said, "Oh, that's good. She likes hot stuff now." I got her into hot stuff, and she likes it even spicier than. There's a new kind of hummus at my store. It was actually quite tasty. I had a coupon for it. It had the mushrooms and the spinach and 2 cans of garbanzo beans, and it had salsa, and it had mozzarella cheese. And I tasted it, and it was scrumptious. And I told you other ones that I've made have spinach and kale, and one I had squash in it. I would have put avocado. I put avocado in one. They usually always have spinach and kale, or spinach and mushrooms. Spinach, kale, and mushrooms, or spinach and kale, and just spinach and mushrooms. And one I made the other day, I didn't have any meat thought, so I made one with just beans, but all the other stuff. And the other day my mom was with me, and we all have to go to the bus, of course, and I got about almost $200 worth of food for her, and we took it to her place on the bus. She's all stocked up like I like to be. I actually don't have any perishables really to speak of here. I buy food for my mom, but it doesn't matter because I still could survive for a long time on the food I have here because I have so many cans of beans. Come here, Omar. I have so many cans of beans, and I have to live off of the canned stuff I have. My mom and I had plans to do shit on Saturday. Told you we both need some clothes. I need another pair of jeans to accommodate my fuller figure. My bra thing's breaking, so I need another bra. Those bra notches, those latches, are designed to be very sturdy, you know. They don't tend to come out, the little hook things. But if you're wearing a bra that's too small for you, then those hook things are going to come out and break, you know. And then your bra, you can't wear it. It's the first beautiful weekend. It's been raining either one day or both days every weekend. First beautiful weekend, and my mom and I had plans to do different things, and instead I spent the whole day in the hospital. Figures, huh? Fucking figures. Fucking figures, baby. Putting that camera up there almost unpredictable. He knocks down my camera after I've talked into it for like 45 minutes. I'm gonna be PO'd. PO'd. I haven't even opened my boombox. But do what? I have to open it, I have to test it. I don't have any CDs to test it, you know? Cool in this house and hot outside. At least from what I saw on the porch. And the clothes are drying. Hi, honey. Your mama's good boy, huh? Mama's pugalopolis. A pugalopolis. A pugalopolis. A pugalopolis. I love the pugalopolis. Pugalopolis. Oh. I had to get weighed when I went to the hospital, so I guess I shouldn't have any aversion to stepping on the scale with him in my arms and weighing him, right? Which I will do. See if he's put on any weight. Again, you guys have to understand, if he does put on weight, we cannot continue to have him get heavier and heavier. We're going to have to take away the food that he's been happy to have been having extra, you know. We don't have a choice in that. I could at least open the boombox and try out the thing where I play the... I know you could play a flash drive, but you can play anything USB, so I wonder... if it would play this, me talking onto this, it would play it. That's a good question, huh? It supposedly will. If it plays music, why wouldn't it play me talking? It's worth testing, right? I don't know if it has that much capability. Yeah, I really would like to know. How a prisoner in handcuffs, I'm assuming the prisoner has to be in handcuffs, is able to overcome two guards and kill them. How is that possible? And they can't tell you what happened because they're dead. And he's hurt. But maybe if there's no way that he didn't kill them, they know that that's what he did. Maybe he'll tell the truth about what happened since he didn't die himself. Prisoner. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not going to do any major shopping or anything, but I do need a new pair of jeans. I can't just be wearing this one pair of jeans. It's ridiculous. These, whatever you call them. They're not full long jeans, capri type jeans. And I need a new bra. And if I ever miraculously lose the weight, I still have that nice bra that I didn't wear at all, so it'll be brand new if I can fit into it again. This one of the hooks got pulled out. So 2 of the hooks are fine, but one of them got messed up. I don't like wearing the bra anyway, it's too tight. But beggars can't be choosers, and I have to wear that bra. Or I could go back to wearing my older bras that were a little bigger, but it got stretched out. I'm just, wearing them for a long time. Oma didn't get any walkie yesterday. Mama wound up in the hospital instead. And I just put him in the cage quickly because I didn't know if I was going to wind up calling 911 rather than calling my friend. And I didn't want to put him in the bathroom. It takes too long to set everything up in there with the sheets and the everything else. I had actually, because my mom and I was going to meet her on the bus and we were going to just take off when I didn't want to be carrying anything she was going to bring to stay the weekend, so I had carried everything she wanted to have here, home here I had done that on Friday. And she didn't want to come on Friday. It was her choice. Like, you can come now or you can come tomorrow. It's up to you. If you come now, then we'll just leave here. But you'll have to do extra walking, you know. So she decided she wanted to come, you know. Maybe in the end she wishes that she had come with me on Friday, because then she would have been here with Omar and could have watched TV and gone to church and, oh well. I don't think she needs any of the stuff that I brought, but if she does, she does. Nothing we can do about it. I did that so that she wouldn't have, I don't want her, when we were going to take off for the whole day, and possibly even take a taxi home from a certain where at night, you know, so we're not dependent on how anything runs, you know, public transportation. It was easier. I'm like, all right, if you don't want to come with me now, I will just bring your stuff to the house and you won't have to carry like anything Saturday. But in the end, I was cleaning. It was really important that I cleaned, and it took longer than and then in the end I was like, let's postpone this, Mom. Mama's just going to mostly sleep. She had a trying day yesterday. I suggest you try to sleep as well. I suggest you do the same. Come back, Arms.